Hey guys, welcome back. This is Your Garage. I'm Davis and this is Tristan here. Today we're going to be continuing on the Fiero. We're finishing up the rear suspension. Also, we have an update on the Tahoe. So if you guys saw, we did a whole refresh on Tristan's Tahoe. So blew up the last motor, DOD killed it, basically lifters collapsed. We got a new motor in it. Have a big update for it. You know, some news. It's already fixed, but you know, it had some problems.
It did have some problems. The truck has been running great, besides the oil leak on the back, which is irritating. It's got a small misfire. Nothing that really concerns me or anything. And then I've been driving it faithfully to work and back probably the last 3 months since summertime.
Putting through its paces.
Yep, and the transmission just up and gave out on my way to work, and that's fun, you know. I'm going up a hill with cruise control, and all of a sudden my engine just goes to 5,000 RPM on cruise control. I'm like, what is going on? So I was able to limp it home because it's got first and second gear. It just doesn't have third and fourth at all. And so I take it to a shop. You know, obviously I get quotes, but $3,500 seemed like actually a good deal. So that's what I did. I got, for $3,500, got a brand new transmission in it. They changed the rear main seal is what was leaking. So they changed that for free.
Yeah, and no oil leak anymore.
Yep, no oil leak that I know of at the moment. And then they changed out my transfer case fluid. Didn't touch a differential because they don't do that, but so that just happened a couple weeks ago. I after having the car back for a couple weeks and driving it shifts really nice and crispy. Yep. And we know that, you know, the car had a junkyard motor from before. Have no idea what this transmission was, if it was stock to the car, if it really had the 220,000 miles I have on the car on the transmission. Either way, like, didn't owe me anything. It was beat, and so now it's brand new. It's got a warranty, and with new engine, new transmission, like, you know, I'm hoping this car like lasts a long time. Yeah,
one thing to note, guys, is when it was, you know, having the issues with DOD, it would misfire very badly. This would also put the transmission in a situation or condition where it would be like really harsh shifts, it would miss shifts, and it would shudder. It's like pretty bad combo. So we're thinking that's probably just what did it. You know, who knows how many miles were actually on it, and then everything going on with DOD, it just, you know.
Yeah.
It only lasted probably like a couple thousand miles with Tristan driving it after the new engine got put in. Also, new engine, you know, bigger cam, you know, a little bit more power. I don't know. Something happened to it.
Vince keeps saying, you know, new engines find all the other things to break.
That's true.
So this is no difference to that. I kind of dislike the electronics that exist in this car because, like, from the car misfiring, it disabled ABS, traction control. It made the transmission shift horrible just because DOD was misshifting or, you know, misfiring the car so bad. And now I did the rear suspension on this last weekend. I unplugged something, and now none of the ABS, traction control, any of that works. And so after researching, there's something I unplugged on accident, supposedly. And so now I'm tracking that down, seeing what happened.
Yep.
And so, like, just like that, it's a semblance, you know, similar to what happened with the DOD. I didn't even put two and two together that Davis did, that, like, possibly that could have hurt the transmission shifting and running like that, because I had to run it like that for a year. Because, like, I had no other vehicle. I had no vehicle to get to work besides a Tahoe that wanted to kill itself. So there's good potential that either made the transmission damage it or just made it live less long. But now it's fresh. So now it's got a brand new engine, new transmission. I'm updating, you know, all the brakes are new.
Yeah, that's something we recorded partly, but didn't end up actually posting. Also, partly why you haven't seen Tristan on the channel in a while, because he's just been, we've been working on stuff separately from recording.
Really recording it, but it's got brand new shocks, front and back. It's got new brakes, rotors, and calipers. So I'm trying to make this car like as solid as it can be. Yeah, that's also his choice into getting a transmission shop to replace the transmission, because, you know, if you guys know Jury Garage, if you're an old-time viewer, you know, we've, you know, put our time in with replacing transmissions, multiple, and we never really get it right. So he wants something with a warranty. This shop is very highly rated. It's not Cotman's, and yeah. Yeah, and then plus, like, I just didn't want, like, in winter now, we're just starting winter. Like, I personally don't want to be on the ground underneath this car for possibly several weeks, getting a new transmission in it, and then possibly something going wrong. So I just spent the extra money on it, more than I wanted.
Turnover was really quick too, a couple days.
Yeah, they did it in 3 days, and I was out of town, so I couldn't pick it up. But I'm very happy with it so far. But that's the reason I didn't want to replace it. Even if it was cheaper, like you have to weigh your you know, like your time and your effort put in. There would have been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears just getting that transmission out.
Yeah.
Not something I wanted to do.
Could have made
right
some
now.
videos on it, but I'm sure you guys are kind of toasted on the Tahoe content.
If this were summertime, I mean, I may have thought differently, but right now,
yeah,
I wouldn't want to be under the car right now.
Raining, all the leaves, you know, it's definitely wintertime.
It's a little cold. Like, I would not want to be on the concrete all day today, for example. So
we got really lucky last year with the rain. Like, it was pretty much every Saturday it would miss us. The year before that, it rained every day on the weekend. So, I mean,
I remember that.
Historically now, like, the past several weeks, it's been rain on Saturday, so we got another one of those years,
every day. I remember when we had the tarp over the Bonneville to replace those parts, and I was here for a week.
That was legendary.
A week straight.
Horrible. I hated that.
I hated that, too. So,
you know, suicide was on the table.
It definitely was. So, didn't want to repeat that same mistake with the transmission.
Yep.
And also warranty, so that's cool.
Yep. Anyways, guys, you know, that's update on the Tahoe. Tristan's just going to be trying to reconnect his ABS. You know, something got unplugged. As for the Fiero, we have everything torn down. I'm going to be basically putting everything back together. I did a lot off camera, unfortunately. I kind of just, you know, with the progress of the channel, I want to get stuff done. You know, don't want to go through the motions and show you all this stuff. Also, I kind of already showed you the process with the front suspension. So the rear here is all done. I got everything all cleaned up, painted, power washed, got the new bushings in. They went in all easy, you know, so it's going to be all as simple as putting this all back together. I got new grade 8 bolts hardware, got a new caliper because the other one was trashed. That also came with new bolts for it, so it's in the back there. Only thing left I need to do is just kind of clean up the control arm bolts. I didn't buy replacements for these, so I'm just gonna clean them up like I did the others, and we should be good. So guys, I'm gonna go ahead and set up the time lapse, just get that knocked out, and then work on the other side. If you guys want to support the channel, join us as a member down below. You get early access to new videos. But guys, let's get back to work here. All right, guys, we're back. Just got done with quite a bit here. We have a lot more to go still. But as you can see, I got the axle in, the knuckle, the lower control arm. We had a lot of struggle kind of lining up those bolts, but that's all good. Got the tie rod in. Really all we have left is the strut tower here. So I have the ground control coilover conversion for it. And don't quote me on like the order of everything here, but I believe this is correct with how it needs to go on. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is tighten down the center nut here. So it's a locking nut, basically get an Allen in that and then have to, unfortunately, use a wrench to slowly take that down. Then when we go to put it in, I'll just remove these top nuts because that'll need to interface with the bottom of the strut tower. And then pop the hood, get the nuts on top, and we should be good to put this on. I don't believe this is gonna be at ride height or whatever, but I'm just gonna be putting it in just so we have all the suspension pieces in. We can, you know, be done with that and move on to the next side, do the same process, tear everything down, clean it up, repaint it, and reinstall. All right, guys, we're back. As you saw, we put that all together, and man, it looks really freaking awesome with the new paint on there, the new hardware, the coilovers. Like, this thing looks legit. It's definitely coming together. I mean, it's really nice to clean up everything when you put it back together. I mean, sure, I could have just thrown it all back together, but it would have been grimy and gross and old.
Yeah, it's way better this way. It looks really cool.
Yep. So next I'll be handling the other side, but As far as the coilovers go, there's a little bit of space here. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but that's just because the you know, suspension sagging. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a floor jack under here, and I'm going to lift it up. Well, I guess I'll put the wheel on, and then I'll lift up the control arm, which will compress this until it's off the floor jack, and then I'll be able to kind of measure the distance from, you know, the wheel well to the tire itself, and just make adjustments from there. You know, ground control, you have left and right, you know, to raise or lower it, and then lock it in. And then I'll kind of just remember what it was on the other side, or I guess both sides are going to have to be trial and error, kind of like that. But yeah, I've never had coilovers before, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's the first car on the channel to have them.
Yep. Well, guys, it's getting a little late and it's raining, so we'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back. I just went ahead and just sped run, taking apart everything. The only thing remaining is the tie rod, but I took off the other strut that I built with the coilover here, and I'm just kind of comparing heights. So this one, it, you know, compress, it'll go all the way down. So, I mean, I already have quite a bit of drop. I'm going to have to kind of figure that out. But one thing I did want to do is kind of categorize everything in order. You know, like the top plate, this is the highest thing on here. Then we have the actual bushing for the top hat. Wanted to kind of see how everything goes together. So we have the nut, there is a washer, and that was included in the kit, so I will put the washer on there. And then I'm going to take this apart and kind of see in order what I need to put on this one, just make sure I'm not missing anything, because the kit did come with more washers and stuff, or at least the stock strut replacement did. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to clean up everything like I did on the other side. So as you can see, you know, control arms, the plates and everything, the knuckle, got to rebuild that. Also, the seal that is in here, this was, I mean, something I did right on the other side. I just needed to double check, but there's a seal for the axle. So as you can kind of see, there's the lip. This is the concave side. So basically the seal's facing, you know, towards the axle itself there. So just for reference, if you guys are replacing your axle seal. But I'm gonna go ahead and get these cleaned up. This part unfortunately takes the longest, and you know, I want to give the paint proper time to set. I do only have today to work on this, so I might just leave it for a bit and then see how it does after maybe an hour and try putting it together, because I do want to get this back on the ground as soon as possible. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and continue on this. This side, the brake was a bit better. I'm gonna see if I can compress this caliper. Like I mentioned, you need to turn it counterclockwise. I did read online, maybe it has something to do with the rear e-brake line, but on the other side I did disconnect it and try releasing it, you know, but it just spun and spun and spun, nothing happened. So hopefully this doesn't happen again on this side. I don't want to have to buy another caliper, but I will if we need to, obviously. All right, guys, got the top nut off and the washer, so I'm just going to kind of put these in order as they come off. I have the top hat, which hopefully this doesn't blow up on me, but let's give it a little knock. There we go, just like that. Kind of released it. All these studs stuck on the studs here, so we have like the plate like that under here. So it's kind of slotted on. Let me see if I can hold the camera like this. There we go. So just the top hat with the bushing. Got this with the spring isolator, which we don't need a spring isolator in this scenario. That, and then we have one of the washers kind of facing downwards over that, which, I mean, the isolator is just going to be touching the top of the anodized aluminum plate. I did have this washer here kind of like on there, but seemingly that's backwards. It should be that flipped, but I don't even know if I need that. And then it's just the shock itself. This one is just as blown as the other one. I can compress the springs and everything all by myself. Yep, not even coming up. I can compress the whole thing by hand, the whole, you know, spring strut assembly all together, which I don't know if I've ever been able to do that on any of my other cars. You know, I've replaced struts plenty of times and I've never seen that, so that's great. You know, we can definitely tell that was a problem. It's still just down there. All right, guys, I encountered another holdup, unfortunately, so kind of same issue on this side. The caliper doesn't want to retract, so when you turn the e-brake, so you try loosening this, it actually extends this out, and either the seal was already damaged or just doing that damage did enough, but let's see if you can see in there. It's really tough. Yeah, I'm not sure you'll be able to see, but the seal tore, and as you can see, some brake fluid's been dripping out, so I don't want to have to reuse this one. I could probably mess with it more and get it to retract fully. I got it a little bit, but it's just a real pain, so I'm just going to replace this one. The only problem is they make complete, you know, loaded rear driver's side calipers, and that's why I did it with the other side, but the passenger side, when I checked, they were just non-existent, even unloaded ones, meaning it doesn't come with the e-brake stuff. I did check again, and they do have them unloaded, so I can buy a caliper, which is no problem, but I'm gonna have to transfer over all this stuff. When I tried taking apart the other one, there's issues with this. For one, that little Torx bit there just stripped immediately, so that is not good. I'm probably just gonna preemptively heat that one up with a lot of heat, and then I have some new Torx bits, and then I'm gonna have to figure out how to get this nut off, because when I turn it, it just extends the piston. It'll push it out, so the other side came off no problem, so not sure why that happened, but I like to keep all this kind of together so I don't have to mess with anything. I think what I'll do is, I don't even know how I'll do it, but I want to try to secure this so this doesn't come apart. If it does, no big deal, I'll just have to figure it out, but I'm going to try taking this caliper off and we'll proceed from there. I'll be able to clean up the rest of the junk. Oh, and I also got the Rodney Dickman tie rod in, so the only issue with this one is, as you can see, the heat shield touched the top of the Zerx fitting, so I had to unbolt it. What I'll do is I'll just unbolt the heat shield and kind of bevel it out, so I'll be able to access the fitting without having to remove it. The other side did not have that problem. As you can see, there was plenty of clearance on top of that. But anyways, guys, I'm making progress. We'll see how much I can get done on this. Definitely won't be finishing it in this video, unfortunately, which really sucks. I was hoping I'd be able to at least get on the ground or something, but you know, that's how it goes sometimes. We're gonna have to wait on some more parts, but I do have a lot of other cool things to show you. All right, guys, I got everything all cleaned up and ready to go, so I'm gonna get out the power washer and take care of this. As you saw, you kind of have to grind off these studs. They come from the factory, either like studded or riveted. I don't know what you'd actually call it, but the new ones have bolts. I don't know why they didn't just do bolt nut them, but you know, whatever. Came out easy enough just with the grinder. But now I gotta just clean up everything here, degrease them, scrub them, power wash them. Then it'll be ready for paint, so I can do just the same as I did on the other side. I'll basically make everything look like this, all nice matte black Rust-Oleum, and then new hardware, new wheel hub, tie rods, be able to put on the coilovers. I did put the wheel on here and then lowered the car onto its weight. Basically had to bring it down all the way as low as it'll go, so that's what I ended up doing. We'll see if that is going to be good enough, but you know, for now we'll just leave it as is here, and once we have both sides done, we can lower the car and do kind of like final fitment and everything. I think that's when I'm going to be able to correct everything 100%. I did also notice that the toe of the car was a bit off, so the rear wheel was facing kind of towards inward of the car when you want it just completely parallel or whatever. Still need to put the brakes on this side and connect the brake line, which I have a new brake line for this one, since I still need to put the brakes on here. I have the new brake line, as this one was completely effed. As you can see, it's all torn up. Definitely happy I am making the choice to swap them, because this one definitely needs it. But guys, I do have to say this has been a lot of work. If you guys, you know, have your own projects, all I can tell you is just keep at it. I try to find as much time, you know, in between when I'm doing things to be able to work on it, you know, mainly the weekends. You know, sometimes after or before work if I can, you know, manage that. But I do work full time and I'm very busy, so yeah, sometimes it can feel like it's, you know, you're not making much progress, which as you can see in the videos, you know, kind of stretch out the suspension. But I mean, all I can recommend to you guys if you have your own projects is to just keep at it. You know, any progress is better than none. Don't be discouraged. Don't just, you know, let the car sit. Anytime you can do just a little bit of work, it'll make you feel better. All right, guys, big moment here. I almost have the last ball joint ready to go. So we have the ball joint here, which just actually goes to the bottom, goes through like this. And then there's this plate. All I can assume this is like some kind of wheel bump. So like in case your wheel does turn or something, it hits this, or maybe it's some kind of just dust shield for the Zerks fitting on either side. I really don't know, but I put them back on just the same. So it comes with some provided nuts and bolts, just hardware here. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this together. We'll throw the polyurethane bushings in, and then we'll get ready to paint. I already have the knuckle up here with second coat of paint, I think it is. But yeah, just clean them all up, get them painted. All right, guys, well, I did pretty much as I could do today. It's getting dark out and it's actually starting to rain now. But here is the finished result on the driver's side. Got the brakes all connected. Only thing is, I guess this is a 95% complete. Just need to swap out that rubber line and then get the e-brake cable reconnected. It just hits, connects to this notch here. But yeah, man, this is so great. Love the finish outcome. Then we have the passenger side here, which only got the tie rod in because that one's easy to do. Just have the knuckle, the control arm, new coilovers to put in here, but those need to be cleaned up. Have the new coilover here set up to replace the stock struts. I got the ball joint in, as well as the polyurethane bushings and the control arm. Top hat's all cleaned off. As much as I'd like to just throw everything together, I'm cursed and I have to go ahead and clean up everything because I want this to be really nice. You know, the end result, I just love seeing it completely cleaned and, you know, basically brand new. I think a lot of you guys can relate to my situation where you want to do all this cool stuff with your cars, but you don't have all the, you know, all the time in the world to do it. So again, just want to reiterate, you know, the best advice I have is to take it one step at a time. Any little bit of progress is better than none. Obviously, a lot of work needed in between there, but just seeing the completed driver's side, I mean, it gives me hope to finish the other side. Once we're done with all the suspension stuff, we're going to be changing gears and we're going to be moving on to swapping in a 3800 motor here. I have so much to go over on just the motor itself, a lot of the modifications, a lot of the custom stuff I've done for it, as well as additional drivetrain upgrades I'm going to be doing. So that is going to be in a separate video. It's probably going to be the next video. I think I'm just going to finish out the suspension, kind of just show you, overview it once we start the next video. But then we're going to go straight into kind of a lot of technical information about what we are doing with the motor, the whole swap and everything. So very excited for that. Thanks guys so much for watching. If you do want to support, join as a member down below. You get early access to new videos. If you want to catch a new video where we go over the 3800 stuff, definitely join. But otherwise, if you want to subscribe, comment, all that good stuff helps me out. Do appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next time.